Hello and welcome back to Just for Today. I'm Jamal Normie.
Hey, I'm Miranda, the recovering addict.
Today we're going to talk about the vaccine. No scripture. We're jumping right into it. So, I don't know. We're both fully vaccinated. I'm almost at my 2-week mark. Here in Vegas, they just opened everything up. It's not required to show proof of vaccination, but you have to be vaccinated. You can walk around without a mask if it's been 2 weeks after you've been vaccinated. And I hesitated a long time. It took me a while to do it. Realistically, I think more for me it was a data thing. Like, it was not some conspiracy theory or anything like that, but it was a data thing. I know that with the vaccine, there's research on it. There's like the foundation of the vaccine and everything, and this vaccine is just on top of it. And there's not, realistically, with the two of the three vaccines, there's not. You're not getting injected with the actual vaccine. It's a messenger, but still, like, you're still getting injected with something. I needed more data on it. You want to explain, with all of your infinite wisdom,
Explain
the
what
vaccine?
part? Oh, explain what part?
The vaccine.
Well, I'm not an expert in it, but
You're no more than most.
So the way Moderna and Pfizer work is, like you said, it's a messenger. So they've been working on this. The way this vaccine was created, it wasn't just now created, like the process of it. For over 20 years, they've been working on this way of giving the vaccine. But again, with the way trials work, the way the government works, and funding and studies and stuff like that, it's a super long process. So the scientists, they've been working on this vaccine, the way to give this vaccine, for decades. So now that we were under a pandemic, it was worldwide. Funding, they didn't care about the money. Trials, they did the trials, but they shortened it because they didn't have to go through like years of getting approvals and jumping through the hoops like they normally do. So when people are nervous about, oh, it was too fast, it was too fast, it was the perfect storm for it to be created. And not only that, like the way with the way the data and the science is right now, it's like this is probably going to be the way all future vaccines will be made. So it's not from a live virus. You're not getting injected with the actual virus, kind of like how the flu shot is. The flu shot takes the dead virus of the flu that's going around during that time, and you're injected with it to give you immunity to what's going to come around the next flu season. But with this, it's like I'm not an expert. Don't know, I don't know how to explain it all. But from how I understand it, they basically it's a messenger. So it's like they take a messenger. It's like a little sticky note. They put it into your body. That sticky note tells your body, okay, this is how you're supposed to react to this virus, and then the sticky note disappears. And so it's broken down into 2 shots. So the first time you're injected, it's like your body has a small reaction to it. It's recognizing, oh, this is the virus. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, you get the second one. Your body kind of already knows how to react to it, and it builds your immune system. So that's with those vaccines. Now, when it comes to reactions or whatnot, the younger people, they have a younger immune system, so they might have more of a reaction, fever, chills, headache, just fatigue, versus like the older people who are 60 and older, they have an older immune system, so their reaction isn't as severe. And then with those like severe cases of with the Johnson & Johnson one, they stopped it for a minute because it had a severe reaction, getting blood clots in mostly middle-aged women. They looked into it, and that's probably because, well, science is saying, it could be from women have estrogen. So they're just, if you're 30 and a woman, maybe try to avoid getting the Johnson & Johnson and stick to the Moderna and Pfizer. But with the
correct me if I'm wrong though, with the Johnson & Johnson, that has some dead.
Yeah, it has, the way it's created is similar to the flu vaccine. I'm not too familiar with that, but it is, a dead virus. But again, it's dead. It's as if you have like 1,000 pieces, that dead virus is like 1/10 of what the virus is. So if you're injected with it, there's no way your body can recreate the virus in your body.
It's very slim.
Yeah.
Incredibly slim.
And when you hear about those anaphylactic reactions, I was nervous about it. You have an allergy that you become anaphylactic to, so I was hesitant too. But again, research and data, basically like 5 out of every million or something would have this small reaction. And what they're finding out as to why people are getting that anaphylactic reaction, there's what the messenger is carried in. They use ethylene glycol, I believe, and people might have a reaction to that, and that's what sends your body into shock and an overload, and which causes the anaphylactic reaction. So but again, it's on those very, very rare cases. Like to date, we've vaccinated over 65 million people, and for that, okay, we were aware of it, we caught it early on. And that's the thing, it's not, as long as you're aware of that could be a possible reaction, just, again, be under supervision, have your EpiPen in hand, and, so it's kind of like, depending on your immune system or what kind of underlying conditions you have to decide what's more important, like the risk of actually getting COVID and dying or ending up in the hospital and having complications versus like getting a vaccine. You might be down for 2 to 3 days, and just, and then you're good, you're protected. So
yeah. And I will say, so we had COVID, and we were extra careful, like the carefulest you could possibly be. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna get it, you're probably gonna get it. It's not a matter of if, it's when, unless you've already, maybe you're asymptomatic, or maybe it just doesn't affect you. Like it's not gonna affect, just like anything else. It's not necessarily, not everybody's gonna catch the cold. But just thinking about, like I just thinking back, it's like I didn't want to grow a third eye and a third arm and all this stuff, and I was just really worried about the science of it. Still though, I mean, no matter what, it's there's a long-term type of thing that still is in the back of my mind to an extent. But my job, so background also, I'm trained in emergency medicine and science, a lot of science, and she works in the medical field. I'm also working in a casino, so she's getting data straight from the sources for the background of the virus. With my job, of course, about money, they're basically saying that you have to get it without saying you have to get it. So they kept making it easier and easier and easier to get it. So at the point when they just had it at my job and I could just go get it, that's one side of it. And really started to think about it. Like, we sit up here, people smoke, we eat fast food, we eat random stuff all the time, pick up things and just, ingest it and do all sorts of weird things. So how much worse could this really be in comparison to that? Like, who knows, that McDonald's, how many hands it's touched and all this sort of thing, I was at work one of these days and there was a good 6 or 7 people that left out of the bathroom without washing their hands. So you start factoring that sort of thing. You touch a doorknob, maybe not everybody has a chance to wash their hands all the time. So, just logically, it's kind of like, what am I doing that's probably worse than what this could possibly do? There's no virus in it. So I decided to get it. My what were your symptoms when you?
When I got my first one, there was just a little bit sore, tender.
Yeah.
When I got my second one, I was just tired, extra tired for like 2 days. Just needed to take an extra nap.
And then for me, the first dose was like COVID at a 3 or a 2. Like if it was a 10, it was like a 3 or 2. Like I felt everything. I was still able to function. I wasn't down. I was kind of tired. The second one though did get me pretty tired. Like I slept for a couple hours straight, and then for the most part, I was fine. I wasn't feeling sick or anything. But I was definitely fatigued. But again though, those two, and my arm was sore.
Yeah, the second one, my arm was like really, really sore.
Yeah. But those in comparison to the actual virus, and again, this isn't saying that you're not going to get it. Like it's still a possibility.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. So they're called breakthrough cases. So if you're vaccinated, if you're fully vaccinated, yes, there's a chance that you can still get COVID. It's not 100% guaranteed, just like if you get the flu shot, you can still get the flu. But what happens is your symptoms, the type of case that you're going to get is going to be a lot less severe. I was looking into the studies today and the data that's out there today, like, in January, February, and March, when healthcare workers started to get vaccinated and then being fully vaccinated, okay, so there were some cases. None of them were hospitalized, as in if you versus those who were not vaccinated, those ones did have hospitalization. So again, you can get COVID. It's a very small chance, but you can get COVID after having, the vaccine. But again, would you, ending up in the hospital, being on a ventilator, having lung conditions or heart conditions or whatever other complications, like it's lessening your chance. Like the hospital stays, like I'm hearing stories about people who are in the hospital for COVID, 99% of them are from not being vaccinated. So it's like the vaccine is doing, the science, the data is backing up the science of what the vaccine is doing, and unfortunately, like the younger population or generation, like Isaac, they're refusing to get it because it's this whole, it's the government, I'm not, going to listen to the government tell me what to do. Yet you're going to trust the government with your taxes, you trust the government for your license, you trust the government for all other kinds of things, like I get it, there's that stigma under the government, but do your research.
Yeah.
It's the science,
Well, it is hard to. The thing is, it all comes down to us, not being properly trained. It's hard to do research. Internet's so...
the resources aren't out there.
Yeah, it's... even with my job's telling us to do it, but they're not giving proper information on it. Like, I think if they would have gave this data, like some of these videos straight from actual medical professionals, a lot of people would have been informed. Yes. It's about making an informed decision.
And here I am, I'm watching all these... I have access to that, and it's like, and I just want to share it, but the way that they have it is they don't make it easy for you to share, and it's just frustrating. And because I can't interpret it properly to help you understand, and so
it's just crazy.
And then, but at the same time, like if you do give this information out, people won't understand it. The way that they're talking T cells, and even in, I'm slightly educated, it's science. It's hard to grasp and understand,
But it's only, for the most part, it's America like this because we're so worried about our rights and everything else that sometimes we don't do what's... And
that turns into politics about are people allowed to ask you if you've been vaccinated?
That's just crazy. But we could tell them to wear a mask, but we can't ask about a vaccination. And we just... shut down and the whole world, all this stuff over this. Like it should be.
And I see it this way, it's where, so that's what, it's turning into political or whatever, right? So it's like, well, how are you going to know if that person's vaccinated? So I know I'm vaccinated. I know you're vaccinated. So if we go into a building and it's the trust buddy system, right? So if 3 people come into the building and they don't have their mask on, I don't care well, like, okay, I'm not going to ask you, are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated? If they're not vaccinated, that's not going to affect me. Like, the joke's on you. Like, you're exposing yourself because you're at higher risk of getting COVID versus, I know I'm again, it's not 100%, so I know my risk, but it's like, for when I have antibodies, I check my antibodies and I'm vaccinated. So really, those people are putting themselves at risk. If they're lying and saying, oh yeah, I'm vaccinated, it doesn't matter, it's like, all right, we're protected, and if they get COVID, that unfortunately, like, you had a choice and you still went out without a mask on, exposing yourself.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, but it just sucks that because they're not, a lot of people that I see that are saying things, not everybody, but a lot of people I see that say things, they're not educated decisions. And it's just based on, I don't want to, and versus, or who knows, it could be something government, I don't know, I have no idea. But it's global, it's not just United States, so it wouldn't that doesn't really make sense.
There's no borders.
Yeah, it's not, if it was just a United States thing, okay, yeah, maybe, but also, we could still get it though, so it's like, even though you're being stubborn and X, Y, and Z, potentially, there's still a chance that you could pass it on to me. So that's kind of frustrating also.
Yeah, but at the same time, because now the doctors, physicians, hospitals, it's not like brand new. So like they've learned how to treat the effects, so not as many people are dying, or if you are in the hospital, like if you go quickly, there's a regimen that you can take, it's all about your vitamins, it's all about the vitamins, but so again, like that kind of lessened the fear for me, even though we got it, and we had that regimen, but just the fact that there's more information out there now for the physicians and the doctors.
Over time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way everything's going to work. Yeah. But, I mean, do your research, basically. Like, medical. Don't just go online, Facebook, see what we might, what, Tim said this, so it's got to be true. Christine said this, so it's got to be true. Like, talk to an actual physician, like a doctor. I know a lot of people don't have insurance, so that, that's another side of it. There's so many, I know there's so many sides to it, but we have to make better informed decisions as a country instead of just reacting on feelings and thinking that everybody's trying to get over on us.
Right.
But the weird thing is, gonna get a little bit religious, slightly, but like, so the mark of the beast, do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. So for you guys, the mark of the beast is when the devil will have dominion, and we're going to be on one system, everybody's going to be one accord, and pretty much the devil's in charge of everybody, right? So when I think about that, the whole thing is everybody's going to get if you're pro the devil, everybody's going to get the mark of the beast. And like, thinking about it scientifically, it'll probably be an injection of some sort with like a microchip, or something underneath your skin, and it's going to be on a global scale. So not that this is the mark of the beast at all, obviously, but this can be that gateway. So this virus now on a global scale there's never anything has happened like this. Now we realized as a people that on a global scale everybody can get this shot. So it's just just seeing how things are being plotted out to work towards what the Bible says. It's just crazy to me. Since we're able to do this on a global scale, then you start moving into all these problems that we're having and why we all need to come together and blah, 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 which would look like a good thing. Just like this, vaccine looks like a good thing from this virus. And, to me, I even think about that. Like, why do I have to carry around all these credit cards? It'd be so much easier if you could just had a barcode on me and I could scan and get everything done that way. It makes sense, and it's scary to think that makes sense, and then that's in this book that's been told about for thousands and thousands of years.
Have you ever read the book 1984?
No, I've never read.
Oh, you don't read. I forgot. You don't
1984.
read.
I've seen the movie 1984.
Did you? Is it the same? Is it based on the book?
Is it based on an army movie?
No, on the book.
Is it based on the army book?
No, is it based on the book 1984?
Is the book about an army?
I don't know.
What's the book about?
I think like what's going on right now is like the whole government watching, and I haven't read it. I read some of it, but I haven't read it.
Oh, so you never? No, I have not read.
But that's what it's. I have to read it because that's what I came across lately. That we have to read it because it's like that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, about just like about
government and,
religiously or just the government?
Just yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if they have an audio version, I'll listen to it. But yeah, it's just crazy to think how the devil perverts things, these good things or bad things, whatever, and to make it, I don't know, it's just weird.
You just scared everybody into not wanting to get the vaccine.
No, I mean, that has nothing to do with the vaccine.
But you're putting that thought in, you know.
No, just the thought of future. Like, so we're doing this, and there's going to be more global things that happen, and how easy it is.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with getting this specific vaccine. Right now, just get it. I mean, there's not really a point. I mean, who knows what's going to happen really, but I don't know. I think the positives outweigh the negatives. And I'm not anti-vaccine, but I am anti-testing, anti-science. Like, you're not science. Like, there should be a logical progression, a logical, reason, and it just, to me, that long-term effects. But I mean, like I said, we do all sorts of crazy things, so there's no reason not to, in my head, which is why I got it. I just wish that there was a better way, which there are. There's applications. I just wish there was better ways to that we would be taking it. It would suck to have gone through all this and then everything get messed up at the end. You know what I mean? Like having to shut down again because so many people are really not vaccinated, and it's gonna mess it up for there's that bad kid that messes up for the whole class, right? Like they, not necessarily that they're bad. Some people are just misinformed, and but the people that are just really making bad decisions just because, with no logical, just because, that that can be harmful for everybody. There could be applications. There are applications for some things, and then where you have to put in your information, get that scanned when you go places, and stuff like that. Like, it could be easy to integrate things like that, like where we don't have to ask.
I'm anti all of that. I'm anti. Don't get my email up for nothing. I ain't signing up for nothing. Get a free whatever. No.
Yeah. You can just make up an email address and then have it just for stuff like this.
What's your birthday? What year? Well,
But I mean, you'd have to have your ID scanned. You have to have like personal information on it. So I would assume you'd want to use your.
It's like we're so deep into it that, like, from the beginning of technology, we weren't aware of our information being out there. So like, it's already at this point.
Information's out there. If you're getting a spam call, your information's out there.
Yeah.
You protect it as much as you can. But my point is, instead of carrying around, well, first of all, these cards should be small. Like, just like you go to Sam's Club, you have to show your card. Something like that. Like, there's so many other ways. And instead of just saying, well, you can't ask anybody. That just doesn't make any sense because we're worried about a HIPAA or whatever nonsense. Like, you should have to prove it in some sort of way.
But why?
I mean, why?
Why would it be important to know if someone's vaccinated?
Because the rules are, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated.
And what's the damage if they don't wear a mask and they're not vaccinated?
I could potentially get it again. My odds are increased.
But if you do get it because you have antibodies and you've had the vaccine, you're less likely to die from it.
It's not just about dying. I don't want to be sick. What do you mean? Do you like being sick? Because I didn't like being sick.
No, but I'm saying, chances of getting hit being in a car accident, or catching the common cold, or getting allergies. It's just like stuff happens. So it's
stuff does happen. But I mean, do you drive with no seatbelt? Exactly, because if something does happen, you want to be protected as much as you possibly can.
Right, and so by being vaccinated, like I am protected as much as I can.
You're not
washing my hands, and like making sure I'm not. Even though I'm vaccinated, I'm still not going to be like all up in somebody's bubble.
Someone could sneeze and be 10 feet from you, and you get a gust of wind and get in your face.
Yeah,
you could still get it. That's my point. Like I even just by getting the shot, I didn't like how I felt. By just that little bit. I don't want to have to feel that for no reason. Like especially with me working in a casino, like I'm around all sorts of random people, crowds of people, and there's nothing I can do about it. So if my job can make it safer by requiring these people that are at these crowded areas that have to be, like, you're in a doctor's office, just, you're kind of to yourself. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I don't, if there's a way to be more proactive with it, I'd rather be more proactive.
It's gonna get like political,
but it shouldn't,
to have to like prove that you're vaccinated, because then
they're not going to though.
I know,
unless we shut down again, and then I could see him having to do that. But it shouldn't be. That's the thing with America, is it's not. There's a difference between politics and then health, religion. Like, these are all different, but we lump them all in the same thing.
Right.
It's. We care too much. Like, we should have rights. Everybody should have rights. But when it comes to the safety of other people, that we need to have lines in places. Like, it's not really political, although we like to throw that term around, because of rights. It's why do I have to do this? Why me, that, and it shouldn't be that. That's the issue with America, unfortunately. It's our strength and our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. We don't know how to draw that line. But that's all the time we have for today. Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about it. Maybe do you have a side to this vaccination that I'm not seeing, that we're not seeing, that, a perspective maybe? Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Let's have a conversation about it. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things, but most importantly, remember to keep coming back.
Stay clean.
Bye.